So many people try to box you in a particular sound for the music that you make, but how do you tend to describe the music you make?
Um, well, people are always gonna, put their own feelings and thoughts onto whatever you make. I think
Sure.
that's fine for me. Honestly, once it's out there, it's theirs. So whatever people decide is whatever they can decide. I know how I feel about it, um, and why I'm creating it and what I made it for. But yeah, once it's out to the public, the good thing about that is you don't really need to trouble yourself too much about thinking what will people do with it because it's theirs now.
All right. And who are some of the influences you had musically when you were growing up?
I mean, you know, Mr. Prince is always around. He's always at the forefront of my mind. Um, and we listen to a lot. Sorry, we listen to a lot of Prince. We listen to a lot of MJ, a lot of George Benson, loads of Kool and the Gang and Shalimar. In the morning we'd always like wake up for breakfast and like old soul records would just be playing from, morning to night. So that was kind of what I got brought up on, and that really are what you eat in your music tastes. And, whether that's Jamiroquai or Tyler the Creator or Anderson Paak, I'm always like ingesting that type of music. So I feel like that's the sort of way I want to create.
Yeah, you do have this beautiful R&B tone to your voice that I really think you can feel those influences when you sing.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Your single Like That is out now. What inspired it?
Well, like that's about trying to be the best version of yourself for someone. I remember when I was writing it, it was kind of at a time where my significant other wasn't really fully honest with how they felt, and I felt like they were slipping away from me a bit. So it was kind of like, what what can I do to change to make you happy? Like, because I often think sometimes I'm like too full on, or I struggle with like overthinking. So I think sometimes I'm like, maybe if I played it a bit more cool, they would be into it, you know. If I acted more aloof, like more mindful, more demure, they might pay me some more attention. So that's kind of that. It's like, what can I be for you? And if I can't be that, then where are we headed? That's kind of what inspired the song.
What kind of fan response have you been receiving to it? It's a perfect follow-up, I think, to So Divine.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been really, really nice, and people have been so sweet about the new tunes, and they all say it's the best yet and the most like crafted and well thought out tracks so far, which I'm really happy to say. Um, yeah.
Well, it's going to be the second single off your upcoming EP, So Divine. Uh, I'm curious, what are some themes you'll be exploring on that?
Always similar themes of like relationships and romance and who I am in that. Um, and just good funk and soul music. That's what we're creating. It's not trying to be anything too like um deep. It's just I think, like I always say, funk and soul and R&B is like the perfect like bedrock for that type of music that we're making. Like overly romantic, overly like maybe like flirtatious or flamboyant at times, but those like themes and style of music just go hand in hand. So yeah, we'll be exploring more of that.
What's your songwriting process? Do you need to have a beat before you can craft a lyric around it, or is there a lyric that finds you and you voice note it down or something, and then you sort of craft it that way, or is there no typical way you write music often?
Yeah, so actually, funny enough, with Stone Cold, which is the third track off the EP, I remember sometimes I like set up a loop station setup where I beatbox and I have like a loop station which goes into a speaker and then I use my pedals and other things to do the bass lines. So I kind of like can create a skeletal structure of a song by myself, and use that for demo purposes and ideas.
That's
And Stone
cool.
Cold was ones where I was beatboxing and I wrote it all through that, just that process of fine tuning each section through looping and my pedals. And then, yeah, I always say it's like I'm I'm not the biggest John Mayer fan in the world. I think he's absolutely amazing and one of like the last guitar like gods to grace the stage. But I think he can be great with some of his ideas. And the one thing he says is he said it's like Ouija boarding with your ideas to like come out. I try not to let my conscious mind do much of the talking whilst writing. I try and let whatever I'm feeling come to the surface. And then, you know, whatever the chords are saying is what I try and match with the words. Like I'll hum something and then the next thing I know that will turn into lyrics and I'll be like, oh, that's what I was always wanted to say, you know?
Sounds like you're pretty hands-on too when it comes to the production side of the music you make as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like me and my producer, Nick Burns, we're very much like he's like absolutely incredible. He's got perfect pitch. He can play everything. He's
Whoa.
one of the people that everybody is jealous of, and for a good reason as well. Um, and he's always at the helm. You know, he's my guy in the chair and like my guiding light when it comes to production. But we're very it's 50-50 in terms of our ideas and what we think works the best. You know, we always have such a good working relationship because we just want the songs to be as best as possible. And it's kind of like any art is just throwing things at a canvas and seeing what sticks.
Sure.
And that's what we're always doing. We're always trying to hone our craft and make it better for the next time as well. But yeah, I'd be lost if I didn't have Nick.
With the EP So Divine, do you have a particular song or songs that hold a special place in your heart?
Um,
They're all your babies, of course.
They are all my babies. They're all my babies. Well, they're Nick's babies as well. Um, yeah, I have two. I mean, Stone Cold is like the most sentimental. That's the most real I think I've gotten in terms of my my writing because that was about a broken relationship where the other person didn't want to let me go because they were too anxious of pulling the trigger. But I said to them, it's okay and it's going to be all right. If this fails, you know, it's not a failure. I think a lot of the time in relationships, we see it as wins and losses, especially in life as well. We try and gamify too much.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's why like all the BVs are like saying it's okay, it's all right, because that's the sentiment that I wanted to get across to this person, where I was just like, it's okay if it doesn't work out. We'll still be all right, whether we're together or whether we're not. I'll still support you through it. Um, so that was like really important to me because that's one of the most like kind of tender ideas as a song to just say um, you know, even if we're broken up, we'll still be okay. And then the last song on the album is called Get Down. And that's really special to me as well because that was the first song that Nick and I ever recorded.
Oh,
And yeah, we just like, it was the first studio session. And I remember it vividly because we spent the week before driving in a car, just listening to like old music together, like Lady by Mojo and lots of Chic and loads of George Benson as well. And then we said, okay, well, let's see if this thing's got legs, and let's work together, see if our like music can work in the same space. And yeah, we just came round. I put some guitar chords down, like this, like two chord, like sort of groove, and then yeah, he laid the bass line, which was just absolutely amazing. It's super infectious and really vibey. And then yeah, we just kept on drinking into the night. And like I said before, just when we're in the studio, whatever we feel is what we do. So there's no like rights or wrongs. We're just trying things out, and I think that's why it's been so great working with Nick for several years now. But yeah, Get Down's a really special one to see that finally step out into the limelight, because it's been one we've sort of held close to our chests for a while, and it's nice to see it's finally being set free, and also that that's our 100% like collaboration. We both wrote that together. It was in some like we incepted the ideas together and fully fleshed it out in the studio. So that's the one that's like 50-50, like Nick and Fox. So that feels really special.
With so much music out, are you going to be playing some live shows in the near future?
Yeah, we've got one. We're supporting an amazing artist called Cahol Murphy. He's playing at Pizza Express on November the 28th. So yeah, we'll be really looking forward to that. I've been working with him as well in the studio, but then other than that, just waiting for other ones to pop up as they come.
Will we hear some collaborations from you in the future? Or maybe is there a dream artist you would love to work with?
100%. This year for me has been all about working with different producers and different artists. A wise man once said, "Your network is your net worth." So I think in the music industry, I've really tried to, even if I'm not playing at all in the week, what I do is I just go to a show, and even if I make one connection, that connection can spark off lots of different ideas and collaborations. So, yeah, I've been really working with some amazing artists this year. Working with this lady called Alessia, who's like also a funk soul disco artist, and this other guy called Good Hug, who's like a synth pop genius, similar to McG sort of sound. And been also working with one of my bandmates called Jackson B, just yeah, just people in my circles that I really respect. So yeah, some more collaborations on the way next year.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the beautiful music you make, Vox?
Keep streaming. Just don't stop. Even if you're like half like 50-50 on the music, you're like, I like him more than I like the music. Just keep streaming it. No, I'm teasing. But yeah, I mean, thanks for liking it. That's the main thing. If that's it. If you mess with it, that's all I'm happy about.